This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Jordan Clarke is in the house. It's good to see Clarke. What a game he played last week. Freo didn't get over the line, but he was taking out players. Yeah. He was doing everything. He was getting 35
and he's doing
possessions.
it as a gentleman, Shaun.
Morning, Clarkey.
Morning, guys. How are we?
We're super.
We are talking about your name this morning. The fact that you don't have an E. Do you feel like Clarke needs an E?
No, I actually find it quite offensive when people put my last name with an E on it. I don't like it, particularly the coaches that have been at the club.
Really?
Yeah, if they've known you,
interesting.
Yeah, it's starting to wear a bit thin.
Because Natalie, you're famous.
Yes, so my last name is Locke with an E on the end, and that was added sometime in the 1800s because they wanted to sound fancy.
So do you reckon they got their E from his E?
Yeah, maybe. I think what had happened, there was probably somebody else in the village whose name was also Locke, and they wanted to distance themselves from him.
No,
that's my bet.
We were talking about numerology this morning, all that woo-woo stuff. Do you get into any of that stuff, dream catchers, like Reiki, anything like that?
No.
Dream catchers and Reiki. That's
surprising statement. No.
Catches your dream.
No, I totally get it.
Okay, so you are a 4 to 11 because this is Jordan, Charles, John Clarke too.
Yeah, it's got two.
That means money. All right, your name number, right? Your destiny number. It means a 4, which is your responsibility, organisational talent.
Oh, that's
pretty high.
You are.
Good
To be
news.
a footballer, you'd have to be, wouldn't you?
Organisation across the half-back line.
Yeah, plenty of instructing.
Yeah.
Talent.
Yeah, it's got it.
Yep.
In buckets. All right, number 2 is the soul urge number. This is your heart's desire. Oh, geez. I don't know if I can say this.
It's to dance, isn't it? Is it to
This
dance?
is pretty sick. Is it? He wants feet? No. The desire for love, emotions, friendship, connection, and sharing with others.
That's beautiful,
That's
Clarkey.
gorgeous.
Yep. No, that's
Does your partner say that about you reckon?
Oh, it depends what day it is, I think.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, all right. Your third number, which is a personality number, it says 11, prick. No, no, it doesn't. It's activity, ambition, success in an original activity.
So what
That
is
means
that?
nothing.
I don't know
No,
what
it
that
means
means.
nothing.
That means
Yeah.
nothing, but it's positive.
Okay, does that hit any of the buttons for you?
Yeah, it's all spot on, I think.
Do you think that's
All-round
going to,
person.
now that you know your numbers, heading in towards playing against GWS on the weekend, something you might be able to grasp onto?
Yeah, no, I'll write it down on a sheet of paper for the game.
So at least that can be part of your lotto numbers now.
Yes.
4, 2, and 11.
Yep.
Well, the other thing is you can bring it up to JL, and then you can depending on who you're playing each week,
Yes.
you can. Okay, these are my numbers, so I'm going to play on number 5. for
That's right.
instance,
I need to match up against this particular number.
Which in this
That
case
makes
would be
sense.
Cadman deep
No
in,
one
in the
does.
goal square.
No one adds that into the game, do they, Shaun? Numerology and
They don't, and this is when they're
feng
falling
shui.
down, Nathan.
This is where the sports scientists are going wrong,
He doesn't have anything to say to that.
No.
and rightly so.
So, Clarkey, getting back to the game itself, it was a tough finish. Obviously, every statistic was dominated by you guys on the weekend, other than the scoreboard.
Yep. Yeah, it's not easy to hear that again. But, unfortunately, we fell on the wrong side of it. But, we sort of touched on it. Far more impressive performance from what we consider is pretty important to us. So, yeah, obviously, you play most games like that, you'll win more than you don't. So, hopefully we can dish out something like that similar this weekend and take the 4 points.
Can I ask you, at halftime when you came in, you always go through vision in your groups. Was it pointed out that just the inside 50 connection and people missing, the short
Quickly,
ball?
what does vision mean? You go through
you
tapes.
go through.
You watch something that you just did.
Watch the video.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit about the connection, but it was also, in the first quarter, we coughed up 4 absolute gimmies to them.
Yeah.
There's just no way they should have been in front on the scoreboard at quarter time. But, 4 easy stuff-ups, 4 goals, was probably the difference at the end of the day. So, we weren't able to take ours, but they were able to take their opportunities, and that's the game sometimes.
Yeah,
Now-
it certainly is.
Back page of today's paper. You seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I would like to put my
picture
house on Luke Jackson.
Of Luke Jackson, that's right. With little, devil's horns, essentially.
Now,
and
where
a
there's smoke,
pitchfork.
there's fire.
I know.
So what?
A lot of these
saying
stuff's
that he wants
made
to
up, by the way.
He wants to go back to Melbourne. What? Has he told you that?
I'm pretty close with Luke Jackson, and he's out. No, I'm just...
His collar's popped up. He's wearing black and he's ready to go.
I'm pretty good mates with Luke, and no, it's as Shaun touched on, a lot of it is made up. Someone makes a rumour up over here, or someone throws a little story out there like this, and people get a hold of it, and it's all of a sudden it's
Didn't
beat
Max
up.
Gorn throw a little bit of fuel on the
Yeah, he
fire
did, he
though,
did.
on a
Yeah.
podcast? Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Start of the week it wasn't it?
That sounds like we might have wanted people to listen to his podcast. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Your friendship group, when someone becomes someone, you know what I mean, a name, then suddenly there's the potential of them talking about your personal life. Is that a conversation that you have to have with your friends when you got to AFL, or is it just an understanding that your friends would say, we're not going to be speaking about you to the press or to people or telling them on your personal stuff? How to deal with that? Because it's an awkward thing.
Well, yeah, most of my friends and close family probably dislike the press anyway for what they say.
Not
about
Nova,
you.
though.
It's
They
not going
love
that well.
Nova, though, don't they?
Yeah, they love
They love
Nova. Yeah,
Nova.
they tune in every
Yeah.
day. But a lot of my close mates and that sort of, I don't even think that thought would even go to their head. To be
Yeah.
honest, like,
But there's all these people, like in, say, the rugby league or whatever, and they're having fun with their friends at a party, and then there's a video leaked, and someone there was taking a video, and it might be out of context.
It's
and-
actually happened a couple of times.
yeah, and
mate,
I'm
you are
sure
right.
those people trusted those people,
Yeah.
so it's never a conversation, though.
no, not with my mates. I think they all pretty much know.
Yep.
They wouldn't do it to me anyway. And
Yep.
You don't do anything bad,
and that's
so
the
it's
other
fine.
thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Maybe we've got to
No,
talk to his
you
mates.
can tell. We can tell.
He does look really
It's-
polite,
it's
doesn't
in
he?
the numbers.
He seems very student counsellor.
nah, never,
no, I
never
wouldn't go that
on.
far.
Never go on.
Wow. You look like
actually
a
on the
polite
other-
young man to me.
Always in trouble at school, actually.
you?
Yeah, yep.
Wow.
Did you get a Year 12 certificate?
Just scraped through.
Yeah.
Yep.
He broke,
No
in, and got,
ATAR
he
for
broke
you.
in and got it, Shaun, because they didn't give it to him.
No ATAR for me.
Did you win any of the awards? Like the Phys Ed award you would have won?
I don't even think we have. I actually get this right. We had a I'm a Ducks at Guildford. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Of the vet
Ducks
course.
of what?
Of the
Oh,
vet.
ducks.
Oh, hey, hey.
That's still important.
Yes, mate.
of the colouring
That
in
still
school.
counts.
Yeah. Of the paper mache team.
He's the one that ate the least glue. Which is great. So you're the Ducks of that, yeah?
Yeah. Pretty impressive,
Were
isn't
there
it?
many other students doing BET that year?
Yeah, pretty much the whole boarding house.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know how it worked because we'd copy each other's papers and everything. Everything we did was exactly the same answers, and somehow I came out on
You
top.
come
I
out
don't
on
know.
top.
It's good. Better penmanship and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
slightly better footballer.
Hey,
I
Clarke,
imagine.
did you have some of those conversations, though, when you're doing a test, right, and somehow you get hold of the answers and stuff, and everyone copies? We used to have this thing where, of course, you can't go in and go 20 out of 20.
No, you got to like.
But a couple of numpties I was mates with, they went for the high score straight away, and that's when we all got caught.
Yep.
You ever get caught?
No.
Never plan?
Never.
He
It
wouldn't
was,
have cheated. He's a very honest man.
there's a few things where, like, we'd have take-home investigations.
Yes.
And the
Oh, yes.
teacher would be like, you boys have all copied. It was like, well, it's a take-home investigation.
And
We lived
also,
in the boarding
you
house,
lived in the
mate.
boarding
also-
house
yeah.
together. What else do they think you're going to
remember
do?
They would give you the question of what the test was, and they'd say, well, "Okay, we're doing that tomorrow." And then you go home, you write it, and then hide it in your papers, and then write a note to your friends, and then pull that out. That's not cheating, though.
It's
That's
preparation.
that's preparation.
Only cheating if you get caught.
And your
That's
boarding house, the boarding house you're in, what was that like?
When I was at Guildford, it was pretty run down by that point.
Yeah.
But
They've
no,
built a
it's-
new flash one,
Yeah.
because my niece is boarding at Guildford now because
Yeah.
they got girls in. They had to build a new boarding
Oh,
house,
yeah,
and
right.
Yeah.
it's much fancier.
So is it like in America? You see, they've got the house mothers and stuff like that. You know, that look.
Yeah.
Do you ever? Is there a
Yeah,
house?
we had a couple, yeah.
Yeah, and what do they do? It's the rule makers.
Yeah, just grumpy old women.
they were probably 24, were they?
No, they weren't. No, we had a few lovely old house mothers, but a lot of them were ex-students from the school, so
Yeah.
Oh,
they
right.
come back. At that time, it was all boys, so
Is it
Yeah.
fun? Was it fun?
yeah, great fun.
Yeah?
Best 2 years I reckon I've ever had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because none of us got sent away
No.
because our parents
No,
loved us.
I wanted to. We couldn't afford it.
Hey, Clarke, before we let you go, we need to talk about this game on a Saturday against GWS. They're in good form. They've got themselves, back into form.
Yep.
Jesse Hogan kicked
Jess-
the bag.
And the other thing to do that is, Nat, you make a really good point. Last time, he was the difference in the game because he kicked the bag too. How are you going to settle him down?
I think I'll go to him this week. And,
Yeah, come on, son. Run through him.
I'll back Moose or Coxie to get that done. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, play a pretty similar brand to what we did last week, and it should take us a long way in the game. And hopefully, we can fall on the right side of it this week.
And you've got your podcast coming out very shortly.
Yeah, first episode today with Emma. So I'm
Emma
gonna walk
O'Driscoll.
into it.
What's today's episode about?
I don't know, but I know I'll come away with a headache. 'cause
What's
she
it
can talk.
called?
Better down back it was. Not sure if we're changing the name. Don't know.
It should be called.
Great branding. What are you doing?
It should be called Inside Voice M. That's what the podcast should be called.
Love your work, Clarke.
Good on you, Clarke.
We'll see you
Thanks,
next
Clarke.
week.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
The big Mav is in the house. We're going to catch up to him and talk all things sports at the moment. G'day, Mav. How you going?
We could talk all things kids sport because it feels like that's all we're doing at the moment in our house. For everyone out there that's got multiple children, we've got 3. And all our 3 kids are doing multiple sports. So whether it's football, basketball, netball, hockey, what else might be thrown into the mix? That's probably about all of them. But they're all doing multiple. So I feel your pain out there if you've got plenty of sports you're running around to at the moment.
Was that the reality for I know for a lot of women I know that Mother's Day was clouded with an 8 o'clock start on Sunday morning?
We had a dual football match at 10 a.m. Will was playing up at North Beach and Jack was playing. I was coaching. Where was I? City Beach.
So what do you do then? So you went to City Beach, of course.
Well, yeah, I'm sort of assisting Will's team as well, so it's not easy. They play at the same time, so it's almost impossible actually. But yeah, so Lauren went up with Harper, who had basketball after Will's footy, and I took Jack, who had basketball after his footy. So we basically did the presents in the morning, quick breakfast in bed with a cup of tea,
and then go.
Went our separate ways all across Perth for the next 3 or 4 hours, and then we came back together exhausted on the couch.
I want to know, right, so you coaching, Shaun, you've done coaching. Do other teams call it unfair when they see an ex-AFL player coming in to coach, or have you heard about that?
I don't think unfair.
It's not unfair,
but they want to beat you.
Yeah, they want to beat you. So it's not like it's unfair.
It's motivation.
Our team's going to meet Matthew Pavlich's team, sort of thing, yeah?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we'd come up against this mob previously who I reckon in year 3 absolutely demolished our boys.
Really?
So, and our boys tried so hard. They were fantastic. But we kicked 13 points or something or other. Not that you keep score, but...
How many years afterwards of this?
I tell you what, the kids do.
But yeah, I reckon there's a bit of extra spice when it comes up against
That's
it.
funny.
But, I mean,
bragging rights.
The team that I coached, we were pretty good at one stage, but we always lost to Melville in our area.
The
My
Hawks?
mate Maury, the Hawks. My mate Maury would coach the Melville Hawks, and for every time we come up against them, now down the bottom, they would just play the most complete game of footy and beat us every single time. And he still got that over.
What was he doing? Stacking the team or something? What was he doing?
No, they were just great.
They just
and he would say
rose to the challenge.
he would always say, of course, the coaching's the difference.
can you remember any stirring speeches throughout your time, Shaun? That
you
you
just
gave
swore
the
a lot.
players? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I gave one about oranges because we were getting smoked
might have
by
heard this
Melville.
before,
We
yeah.
were getting smoked by Melbourne.
Can
It
you
was
give it to us?
half-time. There's too many words that need to be beeped, but it goes along the lines of, and we all know junior sport, right? So half-time comes and the bucket of oranges comes out, and everyone's just tucking in oranges left, right, and centre.
Well, someone's mum has taken the time to cut those up. Shaun.
Yeah, like it's going to give you superpowers, and this is going to be the difference, and we're all rehydrated and ready to go.
Yours were
And
always
then
just
I
steroids,
asked
weren't
the
they?
question about oranges because no one's looking at you and doing a bit of a spiel.
No.
So I asked the question to one of the kids about the oranges.
What did you say?
What was the question?
I said
Just
to them,
minus the swear words,
hey,
please.
Yeah. Okay, I said, hey, so-and-so,
F and
how you
F
going with
and-
the oranges? What are they doing for you?
Oh, because he was having an orange?
Yeah, but there's many. But I just pointed at him. I
Yeah,
just got him.
that's-
He was just going
he's
hard.
never had an orange in his life.
This kid's
And
got
I had a-
scurvy
I had a-
now because of you.
I had a texter in my hand, and I pegged it.
Not at him, surely.
No.
How old were they at this stage?
No,
What,
they
10,
were right. They were
11?
14.
Okay.
14.
Well, at 3/4 time of the weekend, where and this is the thing about junior sport because you've also got a young umpire,
Yes.
right? And so some of our kids were a bit frustrated at some of the decisions, and the opposition were physical. They weren't doing anything wrong, but they came in all a bit flustered and a bit like, oh, the umpire's doing this, and I'm getting pushed around, and I had to sort of I was like, look. Firstly, he's trying, he's learning, you're trying, you're learning. It was like a bit of a...
You were the nice one.
You're
Well,
a
no, but then I said, but hey, does mum and dad frustrate you at some time?
Yeah.
Do your teachers annoy you at school? Do you get sort of annoyed at... I was like, that's life. I was trying to give the life
Just poo
lesson.
in this show and move on.
A life lesson. And then people are like, oh, but I've made a mistake. So you can make a mistake, don't worry. Just get to the next contest. So I was trying to get some life lessons into these, what are they, 10-year-olds?
But did your wise life lesson version of Pav,
Yes.
do you really want to tell the umpire to
Not at all. No,
Shaun. Shaun, let's talk about you.
I thought I was pretty good with the umpires.
Yeah?
Sean's beef was with
I tell them when
the
they're wrong.
league as a whole, really, wasn't it, Sean?
My beef was
You
the
would
league.
never go in front of them. It's just that they would have to get someone to change their tyres afterwards.
Stabbing their tyres.
These umpires are only about 3 or 4 years older, so they're still learning their caper as well. You got to let them go.
You're not going to get AFL standard umpires at an under-10s match. It's just the reality.
No, God knows they're making mistakes.
But we've got AFL players coaching, so why wouldn't an umpire go back into those?
Because they're too old and they can't run up and down the pitch.
They don't have to run far and under 12s though.
One thing, Pav, I don't know what you did with the umpires, but early days when I was playing, I made sure I knew all the umpires' names. You know when they come in before and they'd shake your hand.
You're very good at that.
Easier to threaten them.
100%. So when they made mistakes, which I believe they made mistakes, then I'd be able to call out their name, Nathan, and then there was a thing that you could look up on their stats.
Ooh.
So I remember Darren Goldspink, and this is at the SCG one day, and
he would give sprays back if you. He would call
stats on an umpire.
Go and get a kick or something.
He said something back to me, and I said, "Well, you're only 87. You're only right 87% of the time, so that's one of your 13%. Make sure you know."
What did he say?
He was just.
He would have had a crack back. He always had a crack back. I don't regret saying too many things to the umpires, but I remember one day, I won't say who it was, but I called them by their first name, and I said, "Right now, you are the worst umpire in the AFL."
Ray?
No, it wasn't Ray.
John.
You are. I looked him dead in the eye because he sort of gave the free kick and stood on the mark with us. I said, "You right now, you are the worst umpire in the AFL."
Margets.
But you know what? It's good to be the best at something. Who do you think I was, Shaun?
Dean Margets.
No, I didn't say it was
Dean Margate.
Pav didn't say anything.
Pav definitely didn't nod.
Was it not?
We've seen, speaking of umpires, we've seen, so the Fremantle-Collingwood match, the Jordan Clarke-Lockie Schultz incident where the umpires didn't stop the game and they said, we didn't know about it. And now it's emerged that they did know about it, but they've got the recordings of them saying, there's a player down over there. So why would they lie about? What's that about?
So I think this is a bit of an issue with the umpires in general. Look, firstly, it's a hard game to umpire, and there's so many things going on.
And it changes every week.
But just admit that you made a mistake. Yeah. It's actually okay. I think people know that you're a human being. People know that you are.
You're right. People
wrong
are fair to
from time
umpires.
Yeah, they are. But just also put your hand up and say, "Hey, we got that one wrong.
100%.
Lockie should have. We should have stopped the game, and Lockie should have been taken off the ground." Or when the AFL come out 3 days later and say, finally admit that, that one was wrong. I think the umpires are a bit sensitive about it, frankly.
But then, I mean, is there a storm afterwards? Because what happens then? Do they
There is a storm. There is a storm.
Yeah, Laura Kane at the AFL GM is now having a big crack at the umpires. They're not getting along. But she's just trying to hold them responsible to someone who was concussed and clearly in a really bad way.
It's a safety issue.
Yeah, it's health and well-being, absolutely.
Yeah, with the AFL and on the same boat, it doesn't seem like they're putting up their hand either. It's easy for Laura to have a go at the umpires now or make a stance. It doesn't seem like they're holding their end of the bargain up because they're saying all the time, no, everything's okay. And I know a few weeks ago everyone was jumping down their throat for the fact that the AFL are going, oh, no, we're doing a really good job. And I was saying to Nat, we haven't talked about it because, whatever. But it just keeps adding up that along the way there's some decisions where they need to put up their hand.
Well, I think that's right. Leadership is actually acknowledging that sometimes you get things wrong.
Yeah.
And you go down one path of the strategy and then sometimes you just need to put your hand up and go, hey, that was wrong.
Yeah.
We're going to change our strategy. Or not all of it was wrong, but some of it we're going to just shift and move. And I think that's true leadership is actually acknowledging that you're not right all the time and you have to change your tack. So, I agree that Laura and some of the AFL, it also relates to player behaviour, the Willie Rioli thing last week.
Yes, that's another good example.
Just a huge...
They've mishandled that too. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Port weren't overly welcoming or forthcoming with the information about the incident, all the information, so the AFL didn't have all the facts in hand. But both Port, Willie and the AFL absolutely butchered that handling last week and as it relates to some of these umpiring decisions and the concussion on the weekend.
As you know, since Shaun joined Nova, he's become very open and different to what he would have been in the locker rooms, and he declares who his boyfriends are. So,
I used to do that as well.
Yeah. So his boyfriend for a while has been Jack Robinson, the surfer. But then today he boldly claimed that he loves, and also it sounded like in love with Will Anderson. And then I asked Shaun from his past and players, Fremantle Dockers, who would be the person that he would take as a lover. Shaun, your answer was.
Matthew.
Matthew Pavlik.
I mean, it's
Now, don't feel
Pavlik,
like because
please
he's here,
say
you have
me.
to reciprocate. Think about everyone you've ever played with and everyone's playing currently. Who would you, knowing their personality, their looks, what floats your boat?
Well, yeah.
Who would you take
Take me out because that's
as
number
a lover?
one.
No,
Just pretend
you're
that
in the mix.
No,
so
no.
don't-
I'm in the mix.
Here you are.
Well, looks wouldn't be Shawnee, but
Oh, this is Simon Baker, though.
personality and care and love and
Yes.
empathy for your teammates, he'd be number one.
And-
Shawnee would be.
You'd be the big spoon, though.
I'd be the spork.
I can't believe we're talking about this.
Who would it be? Who would
And
it
you're
be?
giving an answer, which is even worse.
Yeah, I know. Who would be? Who's
Who would take care of your soul?
Looking Fremantle player that I played
You go
with?
home and you're going to feel safe, but also
No,
turned
any
on.
hints?
Well, I mean, like Fifey's rig in his heyday was pretty good.
Nah.
No, couldn't do it.
No, he
Couldn't
doesn't do it for us.
Medhurst was a bit
Everyone has
freaky.
their thing.
But Meadows was too quirky for me.
Yeah, that's right. Too left
Byron?
field.
Byron?
Get right in your quirks.
Byron?
No, certainly not Brian.
What about Mods?
Yeah, but he
Sonny
was my idol. So it's
Yeah, so
a
it's-
bit weird.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
I love how much you consider
Yeah,
it,
let's-
though.
No, we need an answer
Luke
for the
McFarlane.
children.
Yeah,
Luke
Luke
McFarlane, because he can sing
McFarlane,
you to
he
sleep.
Can
He can
sing.
sing. He's intelligent.
beautiful.
We'd have
Yeah.
a really nice conversation over a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Although he
That's
doesn't
true.
drink. So more for me. Even better.
We shared a bottle of wine. Yeah.
I drank 750 mils.
A truly beautiful couple. Pav, thank you.
Thanks, Mav.
Talked a lot of sport there, didn't we? Did we?
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.